Here we go with another one of these books by Jennifer Grant, illustrated by Benjamin Schipper. These are probably my two favorite books in all of recent church world books. This one is called Maybe God is Like That Too. This one's a little older than the other one, but I'm so grateful that the author has written it. I live in the city where the sidewalk and subway cars and buildings and buses are packed with people, but I've never seen God before. Grandma, does God live in the city? I asked one morning at breakfast. Yes, God is here, she says. You just have to know where to look. Whenever you see joy, love, joy, and peace, God is there, she says, stirring her tea. Whenever there's patience and kindness and goodness, God is there too. Whenever you see faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, that's God's Spirit at work. On the way to school, I'm on the lookout. I see a bus full of tourists and count 10 bright yellow taxis. I spy a man sweeping a stoop and Grandma and I laugh when we see a tiny dog wearing a fluffy purple sweater. At school, Grandma hands me my lunch and hugs me close before she says goodbye. That's what love looks like to me. Maybe God is like that, too. On the swings, I pump so hard I see over the wall into the alley. My friends shout, higher, higher, as my feet fly way up into the sky. That's what joy looks like to me. Maybe God is like that, too. Outside, car horns blast and sirens scream, but my classroom is quiet and calm. That's what peace looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. I try to tie my shoes, but the laces tangle around my fingers. My teacher sits down beside me and shows me how to tie them. That's what patience looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. On my way home, I see a doorman wearing a red cape and a hat with a shiny brim. He's holding the door for a man using a wheelchair. The man moves very slowly, and the doorman chats with him and smiles. That's what kindness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. While I'm setting the table for dinner, there's a knock at the door. It's our neighbor from downstairs bringing us a loaf of bread. It's golden brown and warm and wrapped in a thin white towel. That's what goodness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. After dinner, I work on my homework while Grandma stands at the kitchen sink, washing dishes and humming to herself, just as she does every single night. That's what faithfulness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. At bedtime, Grandma sits at the edge of my bed, singing me a lullaby and stroking my head. She tucks my blankets up close around me. That's what gentleness looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. I lie in bed watching the curtains flutter. I want to talk about that dog we saw today and how high I can swing, but Grandma says, once I'm tucked in, I have to stay in bed till morning. I close my eyes and I try to fall asleep. That's what self-control looks like to me. Maybe God is like that too. I saw God over and over today whenever I saw love, joy, peace, wherever there was patience, kindness, and goodness. When I saw faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control, I saw God's Spirit at work. I didn't see God the way I see my friends or the streetlights or the river, but I saw signs of God's Spirit all around me, right here in the city. I know what God is like. Maybe I can be like that too. And I encourage you, even in these days when you might be inside a lot more than you're used to, and when you're trying to do school, indoors and maybe on a computer or maybe on a piece of paper, or maybe your parents are just talking to you about what school might include. And I pray that wherever you are, you can be finding all those places where God is showing up. That you can find places where peace and patience and love and self-control and faithfulness and gentleness, all of those things are being shown all around you. Sometimes in ways you can see, sometimes in ways you hear about on the news or you see in your neighborhood. And I hope that those things will stick with you these days.